Hello friends, what's up? Let us continue our lectures on measuring the economy. Okay, so in this particular video, we will be studying different indices. Okay, indices is a plural form for index. Okay, so we will be studying different indices which will measure economic activity into different sectors. Okay, economic activities, and they are important to actually know in the economy what is happening in different sectors. So the first that we are going to look into detail today is index of industrial production. Okay, IIP. So the name itself suggests, again, it is the index of industrial production, meaning we will look at what is the growth rate, how the industrial sector, the secondary sector is doing, right? Industrial sector is basically the secondary sector of our economy. So it measures the growth in the industrial sector, that is secondary sector of the economy. Again, it is index, so that means that it has a base year. Okay, there is a base year, and it is indexed to some amount, so either it is 100 or 1000. So we will see here that in case of IIP, the base is 1000, not 100. Okay, so it depends. So you can either index can be with respect to 100. Usually 100 is a value, but in case of IIP, the base value is 1000. So we the base year we equate it to 1000 instead of 100. So this is a difference. Again, it is a monthly indicator. Okay, index of industrial production is also a monthly indicator in order to look at the seasonality. Okay, seasonal comparison, just as in CPI and just as in other indicators, we had seen that they are monthly indicators because of seasonality, because the industry may grow very high in the month of August, but not maybe in the month of May. Depends on the different seasons, there may be different rate of growth in industrial sector. Therefore, in order to make a fair comparison from one year to other, we look at the monthly index of industrial production and compare them year on year. So for example, April 2021 will be compared against April 2020 in order to look at the growth. So this is a simple thing. Again, it is compiled by CSO or NSO, okay, National Statistics Office. The base for IIP is 2011 and 12. It is calculated by the Lespieres approach. Lespieres I have explained to you in the previous video, meaning that the basket of commodities is of the base year. Okay, so base year basket is used. So basket was defined in the base year, that is 2011-12, and we just look at the production of the things in the base year basket only, and we track it over the period of time. Index is compared against 1000 and not 100. Okay, here it is 1000. So the index will be like 1000 for the base year, then it can grow to say 1010, then maybe 1080, like that. Okay, so it will be against 1000. Now, what are the weights given to different sectors in index of industrial production? So see, it is completely of the industrial sector, that is secondary sector. So only secondary sector activities will be included into this. So manufacturing, mining and electricity, these three activities are considered to be secondary sector activity. Okay, so manufacturing is given approximately 77% weight, mining is given 14% weight, and electricity is given 8% weight. See, mining is a primary activity also. Okay, mining is also considered to be primary activity, but mining also involves a lot of processing right after mining, so that's why mining is also considered into industries. So manufacturing 77%, mining 14%, and electricity 8%. Just try to remember this. And growth is measured in these sectors, in these three broad sectors, and then compiled into IIP. So we look at growth into manufacturing sector, growth into mining sector, and growth into electricity sector, and then we compile that into the total index of industrial production. Index of industrial production is also grouped on use type. For example, we will segregate industries based on how the goods are used. For example, it can be basic goods. Basic goods meaning very basic stuff like food, right, etc. So all the basic stuff come here. Then capital goods you already know, like machinery, okay, machinery, etc. Or intermediate goods. So depending on the use also it is categorized. So IIP of basic goods is calculated differently, IIP of capital goods is calculated differently, and IIP of intermediate goods is also calculated differently. So see, we have the raw data of all the industries, and how we want to group it, we can group it and find that index. And IIP is very significantly used to estimate the advanced quarterly GDP figures. Okay, so from IIP we can actually estimate our GDP, because there is a strong correlation between IIP and GDP. Okay, and because GDP numbers are obtained very late, after 1 year or maybe 2 years we actually get to know the actual GDP number, but we can have advanced estimates of GDP by looking at the IIP number, because they are very strongly correlated. Okay, now 8 core industries have about 40.27% share in index of industrial production. Now what are the 8 core industries? As we have seen that here it is manufacturing sector, mining sector, and electricity sector. So industries are also categorized as core industries. Core industries meaning which are very very basic and essential for the economy, those industries are known as core industries. So what are those industries? Refineries, electricity, steel, coal, oil, that is crude oil, okay, natural gas, cement, and fertilizer. So these industries are considered to be the core industries. Okay, this is very important. This is different from core inflation. Okay, core inflation is different from the core industries. Core inflation does not mean inflation in core industries. Okay, don't confuse this. Core inflation does not mean inflation in core industries. Core industries mean industries which are essential for the economy, which are very basic industries. Okay, very essential industries. Whereas core inflation is an inflation of items. Okay, inflation of items without food and fuel. Okay, without food and fuel, whatever is the inflation, that is core inflation. So don't confuse it. There may be a question like core inflation is an inflation in core industries. No, it is wrong. Okay, I have already explained to you the meaning of core inflation. Now so this is the decreasing weight. Okay, the weight is like this. So refinery has the highest weight, electricity has then lower weight than refinery, then steel has further lesser weight, then coal has further lesser weight. So this is a decreasing weight. I have prepared a mnemonic for this to remember. Okay, so the mnemonic is rescon CF. Rescon, just remember this rescon CF, and this is how the weights are decreasing. So highest weight is for the refinery, then electricity, then steel, then coal, then oil, then natural gas, cement, and fertilizer. Okay, so this is how you have to remember the industries with decreasing weight in the core industries. Now index of 8 core industries is separately compiled by Office of Economic Advisor. Okay, so it is known as index of core industries. This is a separate index, ICI. It is compiled by the Office of Economic Advisor in DIPP. Okay, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion in Ministry of Commerce and Industries. So this is a separate index. IIP is a separate index. In IIP also there is a part of core industry. IIP core. Okay, it is known as IIP core industry. And index of core industry is a separate index that is calculated separately by Office of Economic Advisor. This again you have to keep in mind. Now let us look at some of the other miscellaneous indices that are present. We will discuss them very briefly, just so that you know their name in case the question comes from here. Okay, one is a Baltic Dry Index. Okay, Baltic Dry Index is a London-based, is calculated by the London-based Baltic Exchange. So it is cost of transporting raw material by sea. What does it measure? It measures the cost of transporting raw materials by sea. And basically if it increases, that means that the world economy is expected to grow. Okay, so Baltic Dry Index basically is an indicator that how the world economy is doing. Okay, Baltic is a sea, Baltic Sea, you must have heard about it. Baltic Sea. So basically cost of transporting raw material by sea and how the world economy is going to perform, that is an indicator of that. So it is a kind of leading indicator. Okay, leading indicator, meaning that it gives a signal before the thing actually happens. Leading indicator of the economy. Then inflation expectation survey. This is another thing which is done by RBI since 2005. Reserve Bank of India does this. It covers about 5,000 houses in 16 cities. Okay, so how this survey is done? It is done by surveying 5,000 houses across 16 cities in India. And the survey is 3 months and 1 year ahead survey. So for example, they go to people's house, they'll ask what are your expectation of inflation in the coming 3 months and in the coming 1 year, like that. So again, this is a leading indicator, okay, because it is a kind of expectation survey. What is going to happen in future, that is measured here. Then the next one we have to look at is known as OBICUS. Again, OBICUS is done by Reserve Bank of India. Full form of OBICUS is Order Books Inventories Capacity Utilization Survey. Okay, so this is done of the industry, and this is done in order to assess, RBI does it to assess the consumption and investment demand in the economy. Okay, it is done to assess the consumption and investment demand in the economy, basically demand in the economy. What is it? And it is done by surveying about 2,500 manufacturing companies. Again, it is done by doing a survey, okay, by asking 2,500 different manufacturing companies about their orders, their books, their inventories, capacity utilization. You know, RBI is a kind of assessing what is going to be demand in the economy, and it is done on a quarterly basis. Okay. The next one is annual survey of industries, ASI. We had seen that ASI is used in order to look at what is the growth rate of industries. Okay, growth rate of industries, also how the industries are performing, thereby using this ASI for estimating the GDP of our country, right? So all that is done by using ASI. ASI is conducted by CSO or NSO, okay, National Statistics Office. And which units are surveyed? Registered units under Factories Act 1948 are surveyed by ASI. And what is the meaning of registered unit? It should be 10 workers with power or 20 workers without power. Okay, so units which have power connection, if there are 10 workers, then they are supposed to be registered with Factories Act, and if it is 20 workers without power, then they are supposed to be registered under Factories Act. Electricity companies are also included in this. Okay, electricity companies meaning generation company, distribution company. Okay, all they are also included. Movie companies and personal services companies are also surveyed as part of this. However, defense company, oil company, hotels, cafe, computer, technical training and other services are excluded. They are not part of ASI. Okay, they are not part of ASI. Defense, oil, hotel, cafe, computers training, computer and technical training and other services, they are not part of ASI. Whereas movie companies, personal services, etc., electricity companies are part of it. Now I have been talking about survey, right? I have been telling you that ASI is a survey, OBICUS is a survey, inflation expectation survey. So in survey, friends, always always a sample from the population is studied. So for example, if India has 1.4 billion people. Okay, so if we want to look at what are the inflation expectation of people of India, we will not go and ask 1.4 billion people. So we only ask a few people, like say 5,000 households or 10,000 people, like that. So this is a survey. Survey is always a sample from the entire population. Whereas if you are going to survey and if you are going to ask the entire population, that is known as census. Okay, census is of the entire population under consideration. So this small difference between survey and census you should remember. Now the next thing that we are going to see is Purchasing Managers Index. Okay, this Purchasing Manager Index is basically an index of expectation of the purchasing manager. So in every company there is a purchasing manager who is responsible for purchase of raw materials and also disposal of inventories in every firm. Okay, he is responsible for purchase of raw material and disposal of inventories in every firm. So they are known as purchasing manager. People who have worked in private sector may be knowing about this. Okay, so purchasing manager index is an index of trend in manufacturing and services sector. Okay, so both manufacturing and service sectors are included here. Now purchasing manager, they will they will be surveyed and they will be asked questions as to whether you expect that the economy is expanding or they're not economy. Basically they ask them whether your orders or your whatever inventory is there, whether it is expanding, it is the same, or it is contracting. Okay, so these three questions are asked: whether it is increasing, expanding, it is remaining the same, or it is contracting, that is going down. Now PMI is calculated by using this simple formula. So P1 multiplied by 1 plus P2 multiplied by 0.5 plus P3 multiplied by 0, and this entire thing multiplied by 100 in order to obtain an index. Okay, now what is P1? P1 is basically percentage reporting improvement. So percentage of purchasing manager. For example, you surveyed 5,000 people. Okay, 5,000 purchasing manager across different manufacturing service companies. Now out of this 5,000, 3,000 purchasing manager are saying that they are seeing improvement, that is they are seeing expansion. So this P1 is basically percentage of total purchasing manager who say expansion. So what is the percentage here? Percentage is 3,000 divided by 5,000. Okay, multiply by 1. So this 3,000 divided by 5,000 is a percentage of purchasing manager who said that it is expanding. So it is 60%. Okay, 60% of purchasing managers are saying yes, it is expanding. Now let us say that another 1,000 are saying that it is the same. Okay, there is no change. So percentage of purchasing P2 is basically percentage of purchasing manager who are saying that there is no change. So this percentage will be 1,000 divided by 5,000. What is this? This is 20%. And the remaining 2,000 are saying that they are expecting that it is going down. Okay, it is reducing. So this percentage will be 2,000 divided by 5,000 again, right? So this percentage is going to be again another no, sorry, this will be 1,000 because we are having 5,000, right? So 5,000, 3,000 saying improvement, 1,000 saying no increase, no decrease, and another 1,000 remaining say that it is going down. So 1,000 is another 20%. Okay, so like that. Now you find out. So 60% multiplied by 1, it is 60. Okay, plus this is 20, plus this is 20 multiplied by 0.5 plus 20 multiplied by 0. So 60 multiplied by 1 will remain 60, plus 20 into 0.5 will remain 10, plus this is 0. So this is equal to 70. Okay, so basically we see that the purchasing manager index is 70 here. Now if the purchasing manager index is more than 50, it means that the economy is going to expand. It is expansion. If it is equal to 50, then economy is going to remain the same. If it is less than 50, then it is contraction. Okay, this is a simple formula that they are using. PMI is calculated by various private entities such as HSBC, okay, Nikkei, IHS Market. This is the most famous one, etc. So these are the different private companies who calculate the purchasing managers index for India. Again, purchasing manager index is a monthly indicator. It is done at the beginning of every month, and it is a leading indicator because it kind of shows what is going to happen in the economy. It is a leading indicator. Now let us look at the next type of indicator, which is the SBI Composite Index. What is Composite Index? Composite Index basically is prepared by the SBI. It looks at various different parameters. It is done monthly and yearly. It was started in 2014. Okay, so they cover 5 parameters. The loan portfolio of SBI. Okay, what are the different loans given? How much loans are obtained? Because see, loan will determine the demand in the economy. So how much is the demand in the economy, that will be determined by the loans. Then consumers, okay, consumer expenditure, how much consumer expenditure is happening. Then mining activity, inflation and interest, and exchange rate. So these 5 parameters are considered. It basically tracks activity in the economy, manufacturing and service sectors, Basically it is a index which tracks the activity in the economy by looking at these different things. Okay, consumer expenditure, mining, inflation and interest, exchange rates, etc. It is similar to PMI, similar to purchasing managers index. Expectations are tracked here. Okay, what are the expectations happening? So 0 to 100, it is on the scale of again 0 to 100. 0 to 50 means contraction and 50 to 100 means expansion. That is what this basically means. Now let us look at the last one today. Okay, the last index that we are going to discuss, it is the economic activity index. Okay, economic activity index was very recently launched by RBI, okay, in 2020 during the COVID times. Okay, so this is a very good index, economic activity index. It is based on 27 monthly indicators. See, there are so many different indicators that are covered under this, so it is a very comprehensive index. Okay, very comprehensive. It takes data of almost 27 different parameters, and monthly indicators means these are high frequency indicators. Now some of these indicators I have mentioned here. So what different indicators RBI looks at in order to compile this economic activity index? So it is IIP, index of industrial production, exports, imports, automobile sale, tractor sale, then purchasing manager index of manufacturing, purchasing manager index of service sector, tractor sales, then America's PMI, US PMI, railway freight, okay, foreign tourist arrivals, gross taxes, non-food credit, CPI of non-food, etc. So there are about 27 such indicators which are kind of tracked here, and then this it is combined. It is so there is some mathematical process by which they are combined together, and we obtain one index that is known as economic activity index. And it is used to forecast the GDP growth, because see, once we are looking at these high frequency indicators, we can know where the economy is going on. There is some indication, and that is how we forecast the GDP growth. And again, it is a leading indicator. Leading indicator meaning this indicator is obtained before actually the GDP grows. So it is a kind of indicator. It indicates where the economy is going to go. That's why it is leading indicator. Now, just like leading indicator, there are lagging indicators also. Lagging indicators are basically the indicators which the data of which we obtained after something has happened. For example, inflation. So inflation we will get to know only after inflation has actually occurred, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months after that. And there are coincident indicators. Coincident indicators meaning which happen along with the growth in economy. For example, IIP is a coincident indicator. Turnover, then GDP, census, etc. These are all coincident indicators. Okay, just try to understand the different terminologies. You don't need to remember all this, but I just wanted to explain to you the different terminologies like leading, lagging and coincident indicators. So friends, we have covered so many different indexes which cover economic activities. Okay, I hope you have understood them. Again, it is a bit technical, but I have tried to simplify it as much as possible. Now I'll meet you in the next lecture. Thank you.